Welcome to this mindfulness practice designed for building the character strength of hope. And so, before we begin, just finding yourself a comfortable position to sit in, a position which reflects ease, but at the same time a sense of attentiveness. And once you feel more physically settled, you may just begin to close your eyes or lower your gaze. And to help us settle a little more in the mind, let us take 3 deep, mindful breaths. So, just taking that deep inhale, focusing only on the flow of the air, and then a gentle, gradual exhale, letting go of any fixation to thoughts or feelings. And doing this a couple of more times and being only aware of the breath as you do this. And now, when you feel comfortable, just returning to the natural rhythm of the breath, noticing the breath come in and the breath go out at its natural pace. And trying your best to be present with every single breath. Just being completely present to the experience of the present moment by noticing the breath. And now, when you're feeling settled, I'd like you to imagine yourself standing on a street that's familiar to you. It could be a street near your society or apartment, just a place that you're aware of, and just imagining standing there carrying 2 bags in your hand, one in your left and the other in your right. And just imagining as if you are embodying that right now. So, imagining what the surroundings are, also imagining if it's daytime, is the sun out or is it cloudy? Just imagining yourself standing with those 2 bags in both your hands. And now noticing the bag that's there in your left hand, and just noticing that written on it is the word past. And so imagining it being filled up with all the anxieties, all the worries that you have because of things that have happened in your past, any grudges, any angers that you hold on to. Imagine that bag carrying the weight of all those things. And imagining how it impinges on your hand as you hold it, how heavy that bag is. And so gently, when you feel ready, imagining lowering that bag, lowering it enough so it rests on the ground, and gently releasing yourself from the weights of the past. And now, if you notice your right hand and the bag you're carrying there, just seeing the words future written on that bag, and imagining it being filled with all of the anticipations or worries that you have about the future, any expectations, any unfulfilled needs, any worries that you have. Imagining all of them being in this bag and just noticing how they make it so heavy for you to carry. And so gently lowering your right hand, imagining doing this as you rest this bag on the ground. And with this, for a while, completely being present to this moment, knowing that the bags carrying your weights of the past and the future are safely rested and you can pick them up later. But just being present as you stand here on the street, being present to right now. And now, just for a moment, looking around on the street, and noticing a person that you recognize walking towards you from far away. And that person is gradually coming closer to you, wearing the exact same clothes that you are, but looking a little younger than you, almost a decade younger. And as it approaches you, you can begin to notice how this person is worried and anxious of how their future may turn out to be. And as they walk a little closer, you recognize This is just you 10 years back. And try and empathize with all that this person is worried about in terms of his or her future working out. And maybe now recognizing what they're feeling and knowing that it turns out okay. That even though that person may be worrying out of this sense of feeling insecure, if only they knew that it turns out fine 10 years from now, they may be more relaxed and they also may be much more hopeful, knowing how established you may be in so many ways. So, just saying to this person, to your younger self, that don't lose hope at any point, it's okay. You will be perfectly okay. Just keep walking the path that you've chosen. And now notice the smile or that gentle curl of the lips as that person recognizes that what you mean would actually come true. And so they thank you and gently start to return back. And now, knowing that your bags of the past and the future will be kept securely, you start to walk down the street in a different direction, different from the one your younger self was coming from. And just gently begin to stroll, being completely present and noticing the surroundings, the plants and trees around, the buildings. And as you keep walking, you spot a person who's wearing the exact same clothes that you are. But you spot them standing a little further away, almost as if they're waiting for you. And so, just being curious, you walk a little more quickly towards them. And as you inch closer and closer, you recognize them. For that person is your future 10 years from now. And as you head towards them, you can see them smiling as you come towards them. And as you reach them, maybe just standing next to them, and as you do, they say something to you. And you can hear what they're saying to you. And you hear the words, just keep taking steps in the direction of where your heart is. And I promise that you will be okay. And you hear them saying this to you. And just look at them, and you might see that irrespective of the apprehensions or worries that you carry, 10 years from now, you will be okay. That there is no point losing hope or a sense of optimism about the future turning out well. And as you look at them a final time and see them smiling towards you, you recognize again the words that they speak to you, which is that you will be okay. There's no point losing hope. And now, gently, as you wish them bye, and maybe saying a small thank you return back to where you were starting, near to those bags of the past and future again. And as you do so, gently smiling as you make your way towards the bags, and just reflecting on what your future self just told you. And as you reach closer to your bags, just recognizing that, like your decade younger self was apprehensive, but you turned out to be okay. Similarly, your future decade self also will. And so, just recognizing that there is always hope, that no matter what happens, you will be okay. So, just taking that inspiration and then doing whatever you can to follow your heart in the current moment, knowing that if you could do that, you will still be okay, and all fears and apprehensions will gradually fall away. And with that, you may gently lift those bags again and come back to again realizing that you're seated here and doing this mindfulness practice. And for a few moments, just focusing on your breath now. Focusing on every single breath. And as we come closer to the end of this practice, just recognizing that whenever you wish to build this character strength of hope, which is about knowing that the future will be okay, and so therefore working to achieve it without worrying too much. Whenever you wish to build this quality and this character strength, you may keep coming back to this practice again. And so now, in a few moments, a bell will ring, indicating the end of this practice, at which point you can gently come back and open your eyes.